I sat down with these 10 MCC participants and these 4 very knowledgeable MCC viewers to essentially build the ultimate MCC participant. I asked each person 11 questions and had them answer with who or what they felt related best to the question asked. I do want to clarify that each answer is purely opinionated, with each person not having to give a reason why, and there's 1 or 2 non-player related questions in there, but the idea was to ask more open questions in order to get mixed answers and truly dwell into different MCC minds. By the way, this video was recorded throughout March. Enjoy nonetheless. With that being said, what is the vibiest team?
The vibiest team? Okay, this is easy. I would put Bad Boy Halo, Skeppy, myself, and Velvet is Cake.
Oh my goodness, the vibiest team. The first name that comes to I feel like there could be a magical combination between Rambo and Fruit Berries. I know Rambo is at this point inactive, but you know, as far as people who have played, and I don't know, as far as having like a god tier player aside from him, I could see Fruit Berries. I feel like it would be fun to throw Tapple into that mix. Okay, I was checking the list to see if there's any other names I was gonna come up with, but Tommy.
If I was to pick, I'd probably put like Purpled on it. I'd probably put Wally just because of the chemistry. I'd probably put Hannah because they're known as like a trio. So I'd probably put like the 3 main Bed Wars creators of MCC together. And then as a 4th would probably be someone like Kara or maybe like G. I don't know, one of like Hannah's friends. I feel like that might work out, or maybe like I don't know. I think, but Hannah, Purple, and Wally duo would be cool. So I'll say like Kara Corvus as like the 4th player. I feel like that'd be a pretty cool team. You could really put anybody as the 4th, but I think them 4 together would actually vibe really well because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be a fair team. You said vibiest, so I'm just gonna go with that.
Orange Juice, a little word, Bekimon, and Kratzy.
Let me think about this for a second. I think Gumi has to be there. Gumi is the vibe queen, from what I know. But who else is a bit of a vibe merchant? I think Grian is definitely in the vibe merchant category. I can't really think. Let's throw Shane into the mix. Shane is a very chaotic individual in a good way, in the best way. I love Shane. And then we need to balance out the team. There's so many options, so many good vibes. We can get Mr. Good Times in there. Mr. Good Times with Scar. This would be a pretty cool team.
Probably put Pizza Hut. Myself, of course, I'm a vibe. Shubble. Love Shelby. And probably like Scott's Major. I think that's such a vibe. Maybe for me. Maybe because I put myself in there.
I'm going to say Tubbo has to be there. I want them to be good still. I'm going to say Tubbo, Captain Sparkles, H-Bomb. Tubbo, Captain Sparkles, H-Bomb, and Becky Amon.
Okay, I have one. AMZ, Tubbo, Wally Bear, and Purpled. I feel like that is a banger team, and it has to happen at some point. And I think it's balanced.
Vibiest team. I mean, I'm on it because I would have to experience the vibiest team. So me, oh man, Michael McChill, Pizza Hut, Kara Corvus.
I think to start off with, I'd have Jack Manifold because he's hilarious. With Jack, I guess Beckymon I've always found a lot of fun. You know, any event, that's Beckymon always brings good vibes. I'm going to say then Tommy in it, just because I think he works well with the other 2. And so that I don't just say Tubbo and make that one team, the Big Parrots, I'm going to say H-Bomb.
Okay, so I know I want to be on the team, so I'm putting myself first. I know I love whenever we hang out. I love Pizza Hut. He's my favorite guy to hang out with. And then the third guy who I definitely hang out with a lot is Fire Breath Man. Even though like he's a good player, they're both good players. Whenever me and Shane hang out, it's like Shaq and Kobe, you know what I mean? And then the last guy, just because I think he's just fun to be around and would not ever try, is Connor Eats Pants. I think Connor Eats Pants is just he's just there to have fun, be funny, and I like being funny and empty, so I feel like we get vibed. We vibe along very well together. That's my 4 people.
I kind of like the vibiest team. Okay, so right off the bat, you need like a good vibey leader, and there's someone who stands out in that category like through and through, and that's Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is the vibiest leader ever. And then if you're gonna have good vibes on a team, right, you also need like someone who's gonna bring those good vibes. And I got a good secondary for that, and that's Ant Venom. I think Ant Venom has just some like good vibes all around. Every time I've played with Ant Venom, it's been like just such a pleasure. Talk to him has been such a pleasure. And then I feel like a good mix in here would either be like Gemini or like Sniff. One of those 2 would fit perfectly as like a 3rd. And then for a 4th, see, this is where I struggle. You know what? I'd actually probably go Sniff and Gemini Tay as 3rd and 4th, because that would just be so vibey.
Ooh, vibiest. Okay, probably JoJo Solos, Pizza Hut, and H-Bomb, because like they're just very good friends of mine, and I always have such a fun time when I hang out with them, and the vibes are always positive, and we're always messing around with each other and joking around. I think and they're all like really good too, so they would carry me pretty effectively. So in that regard, we'd probably be winning pretty well and also having fun and also joking around. I think that would be the vibiest team for me.
I would say me, CPK, Double, and H-Bomb.
With so many amazing answers, taking the four most popular names here wouldn't make much sense. For this one, we won't have a specific winner. However, who is the best at PvP?
Probably Purpled. Honestly, I would say Fruit, but Fruit is more of a movement type of guy. I think Purpled is probably the best.
I don't know. I'd probably say Purpled. Pete used to be really dominant, but now that there's been a lot more like PvP players that have entered into the event, like Purpled, Wally, and Hannah, of course, those being three main ones. It has gotten a lot more competitive, so I wouldn't say Pete for right now. I'd probably say Purpled right now. It's close. JoJo is also pretty good. JoJo is actually really underrated at survival games, but for overall, which is like SG, Sky Battle, and all of those, and Meltdown too, I'd probably say Purpled for right now. And Frost. Oh yeah, and Frost is close. And Frost is actually really good in Sky Battle and also in Meltdown, but not as good in SG, so I'd probably say Purpled, but Ant is, I think, is a close second.
Fruberries, because he's actually probably one of the only MCC participants who can consistently obliterate me in 1v1s.
Sapnap.
I think overall, I guess Sapnap probably has the stats for it. I know he's typically getting very top kills when it comes to like battle block. Like every PvP game, he'll be up there to a degree usually if he's in the event. So he's probably the best well-rounder for it.
I think Purpled is the best at PvP games.
I'm going to go a little bit outside the box and show someone a lot of respect who I think is underrated, and I'm going to say JoJo.
I think it's either Fruitberries or Sapnap or Techno. I don't know who the absolute number one is though. No one has ever intimidated me personally than running into Techno, so much so that I saddened him with my responses to running into him because it was too depressing to watch. So Techno, I guess.
There's a lot of incredible PvP players in MCC. The ones that come up to my head are like Fire Breath Man, I think is probably one of the better PvP players. I know a lot of the people that people name as S tiers are movement more than PvP. But I have to say him because it's him, Technoblade, 100%. Always just incredible at PvP and a force to be reckoned with. One of my favorite clips still is just him ruining a whole entire team in survival games, dying in the process, but ruining 4 people's chances at victory.
Yeah, my initial answer there, I mean, I do definitely got to give it to Technoblade, but as far as someone who's in the event presently, I'm going to have to go with Purpled. I have a feeling that he's going to show that he's absolutely still a force to be reckoned with. So Purpled would be my number one pick.
I think it will always be Technoblade to me.
I feel like I got to go Fire Breath Man.
Maybe biased, but I think JoJo, just because I've played against her and I know how flexible and she's able to play according to what's happening to her right now. She has a very wide range of skills. She's very adaptable. So in that regard, I think JoJo.
It has to be Fruitberries. Can't even say anyone else.
After finding the mode amount, Purple came out on top, followed closely by Technoblade. Who is the best at movement?
Probably Pizza Hut.
I would probably say Pete. It's close. It's really close between Pete and Purple again, and also there's others like Ant and JoJo. But I think right now it's probably going to be Pete. But again, Purple is literally right there next to him. You could say Purple if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna say Pete because I think Pete has that ace race. He has the edge. I feel against everybody else in ace race. So I'm gonna say Pete just because his ace skill, and then he's also really good to get to your side and all the other movement games in MCC. So I'll say Pete for now, but if you wanted to, you could say Purple.
Fruberries, he actually knows a lot of tech now, and he's just very mechanically skilled. He's by far the most mechanically skilled in the event.
It's got to be FBM. I don't even think there's a close second. I think it just has to be FBM. I mean, well, I guess Fruitberries. I don't know why I didn't think of Fruitberries. FBM or Fruit, best at movement. I think in MCC specifically, I'd still take FBM. Obviously, Pete's there too, but I think FBM is just raw better. So I'm going to go FBM.
Definitely Pizza Hut, without a doubt. Wait, no. Oh my God, wait, oh my God, I forgot about that fruit berries. Wait, I take that back. Ooh, this is really hard. This is really hard. Is it fruit or Pete? They're both really good in their own way. I'm going to go with Pete.
I think it's Pizza Hut. I think that's a pretty easy answer.
I think, again, it's pretty obvious for me that fruit berries just seems to create such a legacy around movement games, and he's amazing, but I'm gonna actually say Purpled when it comes down to it, because I just think Purpled has just obliterated the competition when it comes to every single movement game at this point. His to get to the other sides are just amazing. His rocket speed rushes, he almost always comes second in every single map. And yeah, I think Purpled is just on a different level, although that might be recency bias.
Fruit berries, 100%.
I know that Fruit is really good at movement games. I think I would probably just say Fruit. I think Fruit just like, if you see any clip of him doing like block clutches, he's just so good at that. I would just say Fruit.
Me, totally. No, the movement games are the only games I can play though. No, probably the best at movement would have to be Purpled, because Purpled is really good at movement games. I know there's definitely some contenders up there with Purpled, but I'd probably say Purple.
I think people are gonna say Pete, and do I agree? I mean, yeah, probably. Here's the thing. I think I'm probably the best at Parkour Warrior now. Obviously, he hasn't been a thing for a while, but Parkour Warrior hasn't been in for a while either. I think I only have one full completion, but I'm pretty sure it's the last time I played as well. But I know I've definitely gotten the most parkour practice out of the active roster, either like me or maybe Shane. Pete is just the Ace Race GOAT, though. Like, Ace Race is full, like, it's like a full strat game, honestly. You don't need to be cool at like tech or anything. You just gotta know the map, and you gotta hit your jumps, and they're usually not the hardest jumps ever. You just gotta be consistent. So I think overall, that's the guy. That's your movement overall guy.
I'm gonna say Pizza Hut on that one. Well, let's see. He always dominates on Ace Race. He's always dominated on Parkour Warrior. I mean, the dude, he's also gonna be probably one of my picks as far as an all-around player is concerned. But yeah, I would say as far as movement is concerned, I would say Pizza Hut's my immediate answer on that one.
Probably Pizza Hut. He's not as great at PvP, but when it comes to movement, like parkour and parkour tag and things like that, I think he is one of the best, if not the absolute best.
I feel like fruit berries is too easy of an answer. You know what? I'm going to give it to Pizza Hut because he's very good at Ace Race.
With only 4 names being said, Pizza Hut is the clear winner with 8 votes. Following this, I asked, who is the best strategic player?
I guess myself,
For this one, I'd probably say Antfrost, to be honest. Ants really does take a lot. Like, he takes his time when it comes to making up, like, a plan for each game. It's either Ants or 5UP, I feel like. 5UP also takes their time when it comes to, like, making game plans for every game in the tournaments, and 5UP does know the games very well. So it's either 5UP or Ants, and I'd probably say, I feel like a lot of people would give it to 5UP, but I'll actually give it to Ants. Ants able to use that game plan and actually, like, apply it to the team, and 5UP is too sometimes, but I feel like Ants' game plan is more effective, so I'll say Ants, but you could say 5UP. 5UP's really close, but I'd probably say Ant for right now.
I'll go with Purple though.
Someone like H-Bomb. Actually, I lied. I just lied to you. It's obviously 5UP. 5UP is like #1 strategy guy. I'm so sorry. Sorry, H, but 5UP just beat you.
I think Purple sees the game in such a good way. I think it's really impressive what he does. I would say Purple there. I don't even think that, I don't think there's like a close second for this. I think it's actually just raw Purple.
Antfrost.
Antfrost is a bit of a yapper. He likes to go hard IGL mode in a lot of games. I know I'm very on and off with like certain games, because I know some games I will hard IGL and like think of like specific strats, but then I also like go like pretty quiet for the other half. I can't really say that I've been with someone in a while who's like had like the hard IGL mentality and like they're playing for the team. It would have to be someone like H-Bomb, maybe 5UP, maybe also CPK. But I think, I'm a H-Bomb 94 fan. I think that's what we're locking in.
Strategic player, I gotta give that to Purpled. I mean, this is just based off of my knowledge and what I know about people, but when I played with Purpled, I mean, the dude is able, he can strategize on the fly so incredibly quickly. He can just understand everything that's going on from all the angles. And yeah, I mean, when I teamed with him, not all that long ago, it really showed. And, he's an absolute champion when it comes to being a team captain. Yeah, I got to give it to Purpled again.
Trying to think like who would act like a coach in order to strategize. They don't even necessarily have to be the best. They just have to know how to strategically place the team. I feel like Ant Frost is pretty good at he's good, and he's also, good at trying to strategize and lay out plans. So I'll go with Ant Frost for that one.
I'm going based off experience only from playing with him, but I'm going to say H-Bomb. I played Sands of Time with him once, and he just knew what to do exactly. I felt like he was just the greatest leader in the world.
There's a lot of really good strategy players in MCC. I think it sort of goes underplayed how many great strategists there are. But I'm going to have to go probably with Ant Frost. I think he brings a lot of strategy. But I'd like to give a shout out to 5UP as well. I think he's just has some harebrained schemes every single time. And they played together once, and I think that was the ultimate craziness team. But yeah, I'd say Ant Frost when it comes down to it.
I can only base on teammates I've played with. So I think I really got to go Purpled on this one, because whenever I'm on a team with Purpled, there's always a DM chat with every VOD, every map we could possibly use to practice, like everything you could think of to warm up. Purpled will make sure you have it so you can be as warmed up as possible.
Best strategic player. So everyone is probably going to say 5UP because he's very smart. He's very good at strategy. But when I played with SB, we were at TwitchCon, and he had like an entire rundown list with bullet points of how to win each event in each game, and we ended up getting very, very close to Dodgebolt during that one. So the fact that he just had everything ready to go, and he even looked at every individual grid runner's little mini game and said like what each supposed to be best at. That was like, my mind was blown. Like, oh my God, he is so prepared. He is so like strategic right now. So I'm gonna say SB for that one.
It has to be H-Bomb, I think. Oh, yeah, H-Bomb.
With this one being a little closer, Ant Frost wins it with 5 votes. Essentially linking to that question then, who has the best leadership skills?
Fine, I'll say it. Me. JoJo Solos. It's a lie though.
Ooh, that's also a really tough one. I actually probably have to give it to JoJo. I think JoJo has some of the best leadership I think I've ever seen, just like in like video games in general. JoJo's very encouraging, is very good at leading team members to where they need to be or where they need to go. So I'd say JoJo for right now. But again, there are a lot of other candidates out there that you could probably say, but I think JoJo fits like, that upper echelon of like, team leaders. So I'll say JoJo for right now.
I'd say JoJo.
I'm gonna say JoJo Solos.
5UP's the GOAT. He's definitely a prime yapper. Same with Ant Frost. I think Ant Frost is absolutely a prime yapper. So if I had to pick an overall person, like same with H-Bomb, like H-Bomb CVK, like those group of people I know are pretty good at just being like, hey, so here's what we got to do. And here's why we should do it. Let's just do it. Let's have fun. I'm going to pick 5UP. That seems right in the world. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the name of the person who I would name if I were to name someone who has the best leadership skills, who's not an MCC, I'd name Feinberg. I still want him to be an MCC, even though it'll totally unbalance the event. But aside from that, again, I got to name Purpled. I mean, his ability to see the strategy in real time. He also spends a ton of time prior to events practicing, strategizing. He can keep in mind all the things that he strategizes. Like, he doesn't really forget. He doesn't let, the strategies that he practices slip his mind. He's extremely smart. So yeah, I'm going to give that one again to Purple.
Similar question to the last one. I think Purple is up there for me, but I think for that specifically, I'm going to go Pete. I think Pete is really experienced, and like I'm also thinking like who would I want to like lead me in an MCC, and I think Pete would be number one for me.
Fire Breath Man, JoJo, Ant Frost, and honestly me are pretty good, but if I had to choose one, I would choose JoJo.
It'd be a good answer for leadership skills. It'd be the person who organizes MCC. S Major
Again, it's a toss-up because Frost has shown recently some incredible leadership skills, getting a lot of teams to the finale and winning a few. But I think for legacy reasons, you have to go H-Bomb. Just the amount of times he's been into the finale, the amount of incredible plays he's managed to pull off, I think it has to be H-Bomb because he is just the MCC leader. Like, there's a reason H tier is a thing.
I would same answer. H-Bomb 94. He's my goat.
I mean, there's so many skills that make up a good leader, so that one gets kind of tricky to me. But every time I've played with, I hate to sound like a broken record, but Purple is a really good in-game leader. So I gotta say Purple, just because I remember even in my live streams, I always go like, whenever I'm with Purple, I'm like, Purple's such a good IGL. So I feel like I gotta go Purple.
I think H-Bomb would probably be the best leadership to me, simply because he has such a wealth of experience and he knows where to put people that best suit their strengths and weaknesses. He's just very like on top of things. He knows how people vibe with things. He's very also matter of fact, but like in a nice way. He'll be like, you do this because you're good at it. It's like, you shouldn't do that. You know, he can communicate effectively and he knows what he's doing.
Honestly, that might be a fruit berries because he often gets stuck with, not stuck, but he's usually the leader of his teams every time because how good he is. So fruit berries.
With more names being said this time round, Jojo Solos comes out on top with 5 votes. To switch things up a little bit, I asked, what is your favorite MCC?
Ooh, my favorite MCC ever, honestly, was probably MCC 29 because I was so prided on finally winning after, like, I don't even remember, it was like 1,000 days. So being able to win after that was very rewarding. So definitely that's probably my favorite.
I'd probably say MCC 22 just because that's when Captain Sparkles got his first win and broke the Captain's Curse, and also Meltdown was introduced. Overall, it was just a very eventful MCC and definitely one of my favorites considering I ended up watching Pink's POV and I saw the Captain get his first win. It was incredible. It was just overall an incredible MCC to watch.
MCC 23.
I'm really torn on that one because MCC Rising was obviously like my in to MCC and my team won. So that was really sick. And then obviously MCC 25, it was really sick because that was my first canon win. And then of course MC 31 was the first all Spanish speaking team and we won. So like I'm so torn between all of those. But I guess because you're forcing me to pick one, I would have to say MCC 25, just because it was such a hype day. I was using a brand new keyboard that I built. It was cool. It was an epic day.
That's gotta be MCC 20. That was like the first time I won, and it was a really good, fun team, and like the vibes were there.
I don't know, this might come as a shock, but I really liked the MCC party. After playing kind of a very similar game for like years, like just every season was like, they would add a new game or two, they would like change something, like there'd be some like patch notes for like certain games, but it was always kind of the same, which isn't horribly bad because it is MCC and that's like why everyone wants to play, is because it's so cool. But I definitely would say MCC party, like it was just so random, so just unbelievably like expected, and just people just kept going from the top of the scoreboard to the bottom of the scoreboard, and there was like the cool power-up strats. Gumi was like the potato merchant, I think, on our team. She bought like, I don't know how much she bought, she might have bought like hundreds of potatoes or something, or at least like 50, and it actually got us into the top 2 just raw off that. We were just having unbelievably high amounts of fun. I like that.
My favorite MCC that I was a part of, I got to give that to MCC 35, because after having multiple events where I didn't really have that good of a performance, and considering that I am kind of like strict with myself about my own skill, I actually did put a lot of effort prior to that event, practicing my movement, to a lesser extent practicing PvP, but really practicing my movement. Prior to MCC 35, I checked to see every single like map that was going to be played as far as I was able to figure out. So like that MCC, there is an Ace Race map that we did that I had not done personally yet. Like I had never played it, but I made an effort to like run through everyone's VODs and try and like get to the point where doing the route on that Ace Race was reflexive for me, even though I had never done it. And I managed to place 6th. And overall, I feel like I had a lot of critical good moments in that MCC. I practiced up for it, and I felt that I delivered for my team quite a lot.
My favorite MCC, I'm going to be very biased. It's Twitch Rivals. Well, it's my favorite MCC until, fingers crossed, I ever get to play in one, because Twitch Rivals, just the live experience, everyone there. And just, obviously I'm biased and I had to cast it, but I remember it was so down to the wire at the end. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember one team won by or made it to deathmatch by like 5 points or like something absolutely ridiculous. And it just was so down to the wire in such an intense final game. And the live environment with that just made it so much better. It was amazing.
Okay, my favorite MCC was MCC Party.
I'm a little biased with this one. It's always whenever I play with Crimson Krakens. I don't know what our recent one was, but that one is my favorite one because the vibes are always like, sometimes they're not great, but the last one we did was so fun. I would do it if the choice was to play with them every time. I would do it every time.
Definitely. Oh God, what number is it? Is it 23? I don't remember the number exactly. I just know that it was in May of 2022, winning for the first time. That's my favorite MCC, which you would think I would remember the number of it, but I just remember that it was pink in May of 22, and that was the best.
I'm going to say, there's a lot of incredible ones. MCC4 is always ones that sticks in my head. But favorite is such a huge wide turn. I guess a lot of people have said 17, and I'll stick with that. I think the finale of 17 and just how momentous of an occasion it was incredible. But I also want to give a shout out to Rising 2, because I think that was just such a great event and really brought the community together in a way that I don't think many others have done before.
Okay. This is definitely bias, right? But it has to be MCC Pride 1 just because the giant coin that came with it. I love the giant coin. It sits on my desk. I look at it all day. It's like one of my favorite things I own. It's just this giant MCC Pride coin, and it's just my favorite. So I'm a little biased, but MCC Pride 1.
With a large variety of answers, like the first question, I didn't want to pinpoint a specific one. Similar to the first question of the video, what is the most overpowered team?
Probably me, Fruitberries, Ant Frost, and 5UP. I'm really trying to balance this team. Not balance it, but well-round this team. So yeah, me, Fruit, Ant, and 5UP I think would be a broken team.
I don't know. I'd probably put H-Bomb. H-Bomb is one of my favorite players. I just like the way he goes about playing in an MCC. He's not the best at everything, but he still is very consistent and again strategic, like we were talking about earlier. So I'll say H is on there. I'll say Purpled because Purpled is one of my favorite players. I'd probably say Captain Sparkles because the Captain's curse and he got rid of that, but also he's kind of having a little bit of another curse right now, losing a couple dodge bolts. So I'll say Captain, H, Purpled, and for the final player, I'll put in Ollie, the Orion sound, just because I feel like it'd be just a really interesting dynamic. I don't know if it'd be a weird dynamic, but it'd be a very interesting dynamic that I'd probably be really down to watch, to be honest, and I feel like a lot of other people would too. So I'll say that for I don't know, because I feel like that team's realistic but also pretty overpowered. So I'll say that team for right now.
Fruitberries, Purpled, Shane, and Jojo.
Okay, that's pretty easy because there's several people I've wanted to team with for a long time, but I'm just not able to team with. Number 1, myself. Number 2, Pizza Hut. Number 3, Purpled. And number 4, oh, this one's gonna be tough actually because I'm in between a couple people because I really like Shadoon. So it would be really cool having him on that team, or someone like Fruitberries or Fire Breath Man. But you know what? I think Shane would kill me if I didn't say his name. So let's put Fire Breath Man in that team.
I think I just have to pick myself, Fruitberries, Purpled, and Fire Breath Man.
So obviously I would be on it. I would be on it. Definitely. I believe in myself. I'm farming the first individuals, you know me. 99% of people would agree that it's me, Shane, and Purpled. And I think I would add Jojo. I really like teaming with Jojo. I think Jojo is an awesome person. I feel like people would be yelling at each other, yapping at each other, but this team would be insane. This would be an illegal Minecraft MCC team for sure.
Purpled, Fire Breath Man, Sapnap, and CPK. Yeah, CPK has this interesting consistency throughout every event that he's been a part of. He's super strong on movement-based games, and I think he's one of the most underrated players that MCC has ever seen, except for like anyone who pays attention. They will know CPK is straight up skill. And like he's like, I'm not sure if he's ever really like the S tier player that people talk about, but yeah, I mean, I got to give respect to the Ace Race King as well. So, I got to put the king on the team of kings.
I'm gonna go pretty chalk here. Well, at least like a couple chalk. I think FBM purple just have to be there. Like FBM purple just have to be there. I think you could argue that Fruit also just has to be there. Fruit is, I think, a better Minecraft player than the two of them, but in MCC specifically, I think I'd prefer purple to FBM. But so I'll go purple to FBM, Fruit, and then a fourth. You could make an argument for like, I feel like 5 different people. Like you could go Sap, you could go Pete, you could go Jojo. I think I'm gonna go. You go H. I always love Hannah in MCC, but I think I have to go. I'm gonna go purpled, FBM, Fruit, and Jojo, and that's gonna be my 4.
Okay, this is going to be a hot take though, but I'll explain. Purpled Fire Breath Man, Pete, and H Bomb. Because H-Bomb has the H factor, which just makes all of those people even better than they already are.
Well, the Green Gods was always a request, although I don't know if there are 4 Green Gods. It would have been Fruitberries, Dream, Pizza Hut, and then me as the 4th person. But now, if we're just trying to make the most overpowered team, I think we would replace me with Sapnap, and I think they'd have a pretty good shot at winning. Actually, no, Purpled, shoot. Oh, God, Purple's going to be in there, too. Can we have a 5-person team and put Purpled in there as well?
I'll start with Technoblade. He's obviously just incredible. What a legacy he has, and what an incredible player. Gotta put his senseis with him as well. Fire Breath Man and Fruitberries, I think, are obviously incredible picks to be with Technoblade, and I know they'd love to play with him. So that would be just, I would have loved to see that happen, even though it would have been too overpowered. And to end the overpoweredness, I'm going to put Purpled, because I just think Purpled is on a different level when it comes to movement and so on. And I think you've got 2 incredible movement players, 2 incredible PvP players there, and just as a whole, they'll do incredibly in an event.
All right. I will say Fire Breath Man, Fruitberries, Pizza Hut, and Sapnap.
Purpled, Sapnap, Fire Breath Man, and Pizza Hut.
Most overpowered. I think it might be just the vibiest team. I guess if I'm not included, which would be the most overpowered if I'm not in it, it'd be probably Jojo, Pete, Purpled, and I guess H-Bomb, because H-Bomb has won a lot. So replace me with Purpled, and I think it's the most overpowered team.
With Purpled being said here 12 times, Fire Breath Man 10, Fruitberries 8, and Pizza Hut 6, that forms our most overpowered team. What is your favorite MCC memory?
I think, honestly, the Blue Bats moment of MCC 9. We were down 2-0 in the dodgeable, and H-Bomb was like, listen up. I don't actually remember what H said, but like it was very inspirational. He was calming us down. He's like, you got this. We all got this. And we took it round by round, and we made our way all the way back up to 2, and then we broke through. I think I hit the final shot and clutched it up for the team. It was a beautiful day. That was like years ago. That's crazy.
Ooh, my favorite MCC memory probably has to be when Fruit clutched up in survival games in MCC 19. They were in, I don't even know what it was, like 6th place, 7th place, something like that. And if you don't remember, they actually ended up going insane in survival games. It was Fruit, Rye Guy, Awesome Dude, and Gumi, and they went absolutely crazy. They popped off. They ended up getting like 7,500 points, something like that, which is crazy. Like, it still is, I think, the record for most survival games, or most survival game points earned by an entire team. And I think Fruit got like 1st individual in that event, and that was the final game, so it ended up pushing them into Dodgebolt against Cyan, or not Cyan, sorry, Teal, the Teal Turkeys, which was a really overpowered team at the time. And so, yeah, it just was like nobody saw it coming, but like, dude, that team clutched up. And also Fruit's POV, I was watching Fruit's POV for that, and it was really cool to see. And yeah, that probably has to be My one, yeah, definitely. I think it definitely has to be my favorite memory.
I'd say Zeus getting subbed into MCC 23.
I don't even remember which event this was, but this is one of my most viewed clips. Was early MCC during Skyblockle. I got shot off the map by Fundy, and I block clutched, which at the time was much cooler. I feel like way more block clutches have happened, but I block clutched, and then we went on to dominate the game, and I got a ton of kills after that. But it was a very close call block clutch. That was pretty cool. So it's a core memory.
Obviously, any of the wins. Actually, you know what? Anytime I've gotten to Dodgebolt is obviously, a very memorable time. But honestly, and this one's going to be a little bit of a silly one because it doesn't even have to do with an event that I was taken part of or anything. But when it comes to MCC, the biggest and most memorable game to me is Sands of Time because it's so much fun. It's super unique. It's so different. And my most memorable memory, I would say, aside from, Twitch Rivals MCC live at TwitchCon, that was epic, is gonna have to be MCC Rising 2. Everyone literally just dying in Sands of Time. It is so burned into my brain. It breaks my heart, and it's just one of those memories. I didn't even have to be a part of it to even feel so attached to that memory. And I think that's the beauty of MCC.
I mean, I think it's gotta be winning the Twitch Rivals event. That was just an entirely different event, and the atmosphere was different, and it was just very hype, and that was just an awesome event to play in, and even to win it was even more crazy. And I think I had the performance of a lifetime for myself personally, so that probably helped.
I think my favorite memory of MCC was getting invited to MCC because I actually was invited to the very first event, but due to scheduling issues, I wasn't able to participate that day. And then I made the colossal failure of a mistake while I think I was cleaning up my Discord servers that I was on, which is this is the only time I ever did this kind of a Discord server cleanup for servers that I was in. I left the MCC Discord. I don't know if I was thinking it was just a one-time event or what I was thinking, but I left the Discord. Had I not done that, I could have been an MCC from MCC 2 and onwards, but I didn't. And I regretted that, and I held that regret up until I got the invite again because I had expressed my interest in the event multiple times, and I was just, waiting for my turn. And I was very thankful to get the invite back into the event, and very thankful that I've been able to be in so many of them since then. So yeah, the relief that I felt, the sort of release of that regret was, I would say, in aggregate, my favorite moment.
A little biased in this one. Well, I mean, there's two that stick out. There's obviously casting Twitch Rivals. I remember absolutely yelling and freaking out in the last game. I don't even remember what the last game was. I just remember yelling and freaking out, and it was great. And just that whole experience was incredible. But I also very vividly remember watching my first ever MCC, which I think was MCC 8, and I just remember I was almost literally teary-eyed in the sense of I had always imagined MCC esports being something amazing, and when I saw MCC, I was like, that's it. That's what this looks like. And it's just a very, very vivid memory for me. So it's gotta be one of those two. It's very hard to pick the original kind of learning of it, and then obviously the culmination that was the casting event. It's the casting. The casting is just I'm never going to forget that for the rest of my life. So it's got to be the casting.
I think that my favorite memory is definitely winning MCC for the very first time. That was my favorite memory for sure. But I guess that's everyone else's favorite memory, winning MCC for the first time.
It's going to be the same as the other question. Winning MCC 22. Wow, look, he remembers the number of it. That was very hype. Although, you know what? That is, in the interest of variety, winning MCC at TwitchCon live was also very cool. And not failing the backflip on stage, which would have been a really embarrassing thing to do. So, you know what? We'll say that is, and I'm looking at the crown right now on the shelf next to the plushie that I apparently was not supposed to take. Sorry, Nox crew. Good memories.
This is, I guess, a personal one for me, but obviously I loved when Lime won MCC Rising 2, just because now I'm friends with a lot of them. So, and that moment, I just remember screaming down my microphone. I think there's a post on me on Twitter somewhere, just popping off for them all. So I really, that one meant a lot.
I think it's usually the ones where they do special effects for a special event. The one that I think comes to mind, or you know what? I think it was just, I mean, I guess I want to say my favorite event in general, but like Scuffed had so many like funny events or funny like gimmicks a part of it because it kind of took the seriousness out of it. That like there was a moment, I think, I don't know if it was Scuffed or another one, but it was when all the players got to play dodgeball together, like a 40 or 20v20. That was like so fun to me. I thought that was like just like it felt so like fun for everyone to get involved in that.
Oh, okay. There's a few standout memories that like come to the top of my head first thing, but one of them is actually like really, really simple, which is just like there was this period of time where consistently every time me and Green were in MCC together, we would just watch the fireworks together at the top as the game was starting. And I don't know why, but that always stuck with me as just something fun we did every time.
Probably MCC 1, where we were in dodgeball. It was just me and the opponent, and I got the winning shot, and I got to rub it in Captain Sparkle's face that we won because he said we weren't even going to get the dodgeball. And myself and my team were like, suck it, Captain Sparkles. We won.
Once again, like the other questions, I don't want to pinpoint a specific one. However, Twitch Rivals was mentioned the most amount of times, with 2 of our people actually winning it. To really get them thinking now, I asked if every single roster member played every single MCC since the first one, who would have the most team wins?
If I had to throw one name into the ring, assuming that he hadn't retired, but he just kept on practicing and kept his skill level up, I'd probably have to throw that one to Dream.
Then I'd probably say Purple, because Purple is just crazy when it comes to like rallying up teams. Fruit would probably be on there too. It'd probably be close between like Fruit, Pete, and Purpled. Maybe H could be up there, but I feel like H would have to, I don't know, I feel like H isn't as strong as the other members that I'm naming right now. So I feel like, yeah, it would probably have to be Purpled, Pete, or Fruits, because, you know, I feel like they're like the hard carries in the event, and I feel like they would be able to wield a lot of their teams, even if they're not that strong, to victories. So I'd probably have to say, actually, if I was to choose one, I'd probably give it, you know what, I'd probably give it to Fruit, to be honest. Fruit does get unlucky in dodgeball a lot of the times, so I'd say Fruit. And I feel like, yeah, he'd be able to win against, I think, a lot of the other members in MCC if, you know, he was on a team and playing against them from the beginning. So yeah, I had to say Fruit for that one.
H-bomb.
Probably H-bomb. Actually, maybe H has been in every single one, but he has the second most. Probably Sapnap then, because Sapnap already has the most and he hasn't played in a lot of them.
I'm gonna be selfish. I think I would probably be high up there, to be honest. Like the average skill level has significantly gone up very recently in just the past couple of years. If I had been in season 1 and early season 2, like I probably would have been stomping. Not as an individual. I feel like I'm really good as like a team leader and just, you know, team games. I feel like I'm pretty decent at it. And yeah, I feel like I'd be pretty high up there.
Sapnap, I think, has a really strong argument because he's very good at dodgeball, and I don't know. I think that alone would just carry him to this. Like, I don't think there's anybody that's as dominant at dodgeball as he.
I was thinking Purpled, but his dodgeball stats are not that great at the moment. So, probably Fire Breath Man.
My instinct says Pete, but part of me also thinks H. But also, if I think Purpled is the best player, why wouldn't I think Purpled is there? So, a lot of mixed feelings. I think. You know what? I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna say Pete. I picked him as the best leader, and I think he would be able to lead his team to victory the most times. I think he's clutch too. I'm gonna go Pete.
Probably Dream, right?
Yeah.
I think if he still played, he would have the most wins.
I'm really I have to choose between the top players and who do I think might have an edge. Maybe in terms of how they can motivate their team. So that's where my answer is going to be coming from. I would probably say Sapnap.
I mean, Sapnap's up there. Sapnap, I swear, has like 7 wins or something right now. I would have to Google when Sapnap started playing, but I think he would be the reliable choice because if he already has like 7 or 8 wins now, and I do not think he was playing since the beginning, then I think it's just kind of an obvious choice there.
I think it's hard to look past the fact that H-bomb has had the most team wins. Obviously, he was dominant in a period where it was maybe weaker, some people say, and he had a lot of good duos with him. Sapnap has had a lot of incredible plays in MCC as well. He has obviously the most wins. Those two have the most wins overall. I would love to say Techno, but I don't think he would. So I'm gonna stick with Sapnap, I think, because that period where he won like 3 in a row or 4 in a row even, he was just different gravy then, and I can, if that kept going on, maybe well, if he'd been there from the start, he could have done that for longer.
Probably either Sapnap or H-Bomb, because I think they have like pretty much the most wins right now, but they have not been in every single one. So one of them, Sapnap or H-Bomb.
If you had to pick one.
Probably H-Bomb then, just because he just tends to do well on any team he's on, and he does consistently every single time. So let's say H-Bomb.
I kind of want to say Fire Breath Man because he came in pretty late. Like, I don't remember which MCC it was, but it was pretty late, and he's already picked up a couple wins. So he's definitely like on my list of potential possibilities there. Because everyone else that I think of who has a lot of wins is, started in the first 10 MCCs or something like that. So I'm probably gonna go Fire Breath Man.
Sticking to our already confirmed stats, Sapnap comes out on top here. The same question again then. But who would have the most first individuals?
Fruit Berries. I think he's mechanically the best player in MCC. Well, I'm counting Purple and Fruit now. I'm gonna say Fruit Berries. I think Fruit Berries is just mechanically superior to everybody.
I'd have to say Purpled. Purpled already has a ton of like second and thirds, but if Purpled was playing from the beginning, yeah, it would have to be Purpled, I think. I mean, he's just insane. Pete would also be up there too, and again, Fruit would too, and JoJo actually, because JoJo got like 2 first individuals in season 3, and I feel like she's not talked about enough when it comes to like getting first individuals. So JoJo would be up there. Pete got a ton in season 1, so like yeah, of course Pete started from the beginning. But if Pete was like played every single event, then yeah, you probably would have maybe 1 or 2 more. I don't know. It all depends, but yeah, I'd probably just say Purple, JoJo, or Pete. If I was to choose one, I'd probably say Purple.
Pete.
Ever? I don't even know who has the most first individuals now. Probably Fruit Berries if he was in every single one ever.
Oh, that's very different. First individuals, it's probably somewhere between Fruit, Fire Breathman, and Purpled, 100%. Like those are probably like the top 3 people. But I guess if I have to pick one, I'm gonna have to go with Purpled because he's just been very consistent, and he's been added. I mean, both him and Fire Breathman were added after me, I think. Or no, Purpled came one before me. I don't know. I've already forgotten. But like they have already been dominating. So if I had to pick Purpled is up there.
Purpled.
You know what? I'm gonna say me. Looking at MCC like 1 to now is also crazy. Like everyone as a collective was just so bad, and then we all just kind of got better like at different levels. But like everyone in MCC 1, even the sweats, like everyone just kind of was like, what is this? What is this shit? Like what are we doing? Like how do we play? I think I have the potential. Like if Quig or something stayed in the event, he would be the GOAT. Quig's my GOAT. Or maybe no, I believe in myself.
Purpled, not even close. I think Purple, if there's been 35 MCCs and Purple's in every single one, he has probably at least 10, I would say.
For some reason, I want to say Purple, but I don't think he's gotten that many first individuals. But I think if he like played every single event, he probably would get a lot.
Purpled is really good across the board at movement, at PvP. Fire Breath is also really good at those things, but I feel like Purple's movement is like S tier. I feel like if you were to give a category to Purple in each one, it would be like S. I'm probably gonna go Purple. I'm gonna sound somewhat broken recordy there, but probably Purple.
Purple, crazy all around player, does insane with every game, and practices nonstop. Yeah, I mean, I think if you were to pit every single player up against each other these days who's been in MCC, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he came out on top.
Probably JoJo. She has not been in very many MCCs because she started later than almost everybody. But I think if she had started from the very beginning, she'd probably have the most first individual. I think she has like 3 or 4 right now. And she's only played in like a third of the amount as everyone else. If she had gotten in the very beginning, I think she would have the most.
For this one, I'm going to say Technoblade, just because I want to. Technoblade is the all-inspiring one. He obviously I think it probably would have took his toll. He's talked about how much it took his toll, MCC, but he probably would have trained even harder, constantly training. And I think that his just legacy, his scariness as a player, the fact they've actually had to change games because of him is just incredible. So yeah, definitely has to be Techno.
We don't know, actually. Obviously, we don't know how Techno would do in current day. He might be number one if we're taking all historical participants. If we're taking like active participants, it's either Sapnap or Purple. I think probably Purpled. And the reason why I chose Sapnap for most wins, though, is that I think he has a slight edge in the PvP stuff, which helps the team get more points, whereas I think Purpled has an edge in the movement stuff, which helps him get more points personally. And that's where I would get that from. I don't know if it's good reasoning or not, but that's where I stand.
With an almost sweep, and from this video clear as the strongest player, Purpled wins it with 8 votes. To end off the video then, I asked, who is one person you'd add to MCC?
Probably my boy Swirls, Twitch streamer.
Redunes.
Ooh, one person I would add. I don't know. That's so tough. I'm not like a huge newcomer guy. I don't go out of my way to think of people who should join. But there are a ton of people that'd be really cool to see.
You can say yourself.
So yeah, if I'm not gonna pick myself. But I don't know. There's so many people. You could choose a giant content creator like PewDiePie to join, But I don't know. I don't know if I would want a giant content. I feel like maybe somebody from the community, like Wolfie or Boomer, people that have been highly requested to get in, or Curryway. One of them maybe. But also at the same time, it would be kind of fun to see Mr. Beast playing in MCC. So all right, if I was to pick, I would say Curry.
I would pick obviously people that I'm really close with because I want to be able to team with them and have a good time. So I'm having a hard time because I would love to add Jack Jivic. I know that's a person that's always been close to the circle but never in the MCC circle, so that's someone who's close. Ghosty Fruit, love Ghosty Fruit. If you don't know who Ghosty Fruit is, then figure it out. Marissa, my girlfriend, that would be awesome. That would be really cool too. And if I had to pick one person, I'm going to have to pick Jack Jivic because he's been the closest and very, very nearby of joining for a while. Maybe he'll join. Who knows? Maybe.
I think it would be cool to see Feinberg play in MCC because I'm curious on how he would do from a competitive standpoint. So I think Feinberg.
Maybe something like Smallant. Smallant is an absolutely wonderful person, and one that I have the pleasure of teaming with a few times, and I've talked to him quite a lot. He's such a cool guy. I think he deserves a spot.
I think I got to give my number one pick to Sandwich Lord. He was due to be in MCC Rising. Unfortunate circumstances caused his team to not be in that MCC Rising. He plays on MCCI all the time. He's, I know that he really desires to be in the event, and I would love to see his name on the main roster of players who are in MCC.
Very, very extremely easy to say me. And obviously I would love to play. But I'm going to not say me. And I'm going to say the person I would love to see the most. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. But I would absolutely love to see Feinberg in MCC, just in the chance of... I think it's inarguable that he's a large enough content creator at this point to very easily be in the event. He is just been killing it on Twitch. And just to see, in my opinion, the best player in the world in MCC, I think that would be fantastic. And I don't think he takes it... Obviously, he takes events seriously, but I don't think he's a try-hard sweat in the sense of he will not have fun just playing for fun. I think, especially knowing him now, he would absolutely just love to be a part of it. And I would love to see him come in and absolutely dominate. I think it'd be so much fun.
I would add a Cookie God because he's so funny. He's good at Minecraft, and I feel like he would add just so much humor to the event.
We should try adding Jack Black to MCC. He's playing Steve, so he'd fit in pretty well, I think.
I think a person I would love, and I think a lot of my answers have gone towards this, is Techno Dad. Even if it is just for a non-canon event, I think that would be really cool because he's such a inspiring person, and I think that would really just be a nice thing to happen.
I want to see Crumb play MCC. That's my answer.
Oh, Wolfie, hands down. I mean, that guy's all over the Reddit. I see the MCC reviews, the live streams, and everything else. So, I mean, it's got to be Wolfie.
Maybe Curryway or Fulham, because I think they're both wonderful people and wonderful players. And we need more wonderful people in MCC.
If you're interested in the full stats, then you can see them on the screen right now. But all in all, our ultimate MCC participant consists of Purple's PvP, Pizza Hut's movement, Antfrost's strategies, Jojo Solo's leadership, a team of Purpled, Fire Breath Man, Fruitberries, and Pizza Hut, Sapnap's win ability, and Purpled's first individual ability.